Her Excellency Minister for Women's Affairs in the State of Palestine, and now
the floor to Her Excellency Zonya Rivero López, Deputy Secretary General of the Federation of Cuban Women of Cuba, on behalf of a group of friends in defense of the Charter of the United Nations.
Señor Presidente.
Chair, Cuba has the honour to take the floor on behalf of the group of friends in defence of the United Nations Charter, whose member states would like, first and foremost, to convey their best wishes of success to both you and to the Bureau throughout this session of the Commission on the Status of Women, the CSW. In the interest of time, the full version of this statement will be published on the relevant official websites. This year's session is taking place once again amidst one of the most painful conflicts in modern history, the catastrophic situation in Palestine and the ongoing grave injustice committed on the question of Palestine, which has been protracted for over 17 months. Over the past 17 months, this conflict has inflicted unprecedented levels of violence, death and destruction, particularly in the Gaza Strip, claiming the lives of over 48,000 innocent civilians, while leaving also over 110,000 people wounded. This ongoing brutal Israeli military aggression in the occupied Palestinian territory and the illegal colonial occupation of the Palestinian land continues to cause human suffering and pain while hampering the full enjoyment of human rights. This reality is having a disproportionate impact, particularly on women and girls. Palestinian women and children tragically comprise a large proportion of the fatalities of such brutal attacks, respectively accounting for 7,000 and 13,000 of the civilian casualties. According to the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, almost a third of fatal victims are women. Similarly, UN Women has alerted that Israel's ongoing military operation in the Gaza Strip has resulted in a health crisis for women, including pregnant women and new mothers facing life-threatening health risks as they continue to struggle to access medical care for themselves and for their families. We hope that the recent ceasefire agreement in the Gaza Strip, which must become permanent and include the rest of the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, will be an important practical step towards the long-term stabilisation of the situation on the ground, and that this will also create the necessary conditions for enabling and accelerating unimpeded humanitarian access, consistently, safely, and to scale, to those that are in desperate need, including women and girls. It is alarming that international health studies have concluded that Israel's ongoing violence against the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip has reduced the life expectancy of Palestinians in general from over 75 years to the dramatic figures of 38 years for men and 29.9 years for women. It has also exposed them to repeated and violent forced displacement, severe humanitarian consequences, the disintegration and dissolution of families, and the denial of their rights. All of this has severely undermined the strides made to empower Palestinian women and the capacity to fulfill their vital role in rebuilding and developing their society. We reaffirm our unwavering solidarity with the just cause of Palestine and our staunch support to the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people against apartheid and against the occupying power, as we commemorate the 30-year anniversary since the adoption of the Beijing Plan of Action. We must commit ourselves to upholding our obligations, and we must not leave Palestinian women behind to suffer this unjust fate. Chair, we reiterate our serious concern at the recent alarming statements on intentions to seize Gaza, to forcibly displace the Palestinian people from their land, and to promote Israeli annexation schemes in the West Bank. including through the expansion of illegal Israeli settlements and their pretended legitimization by means of attempts to rename parts of the occupied Palestinian territory, in violation of international law and UN resolutions, and a clear attempt to eliminate the Palestinian cause as well as their very identity and presence in their own homeland. Similarly, we avail ourselves of this opportunity to emphasize the indispensable role of UNRWA in ensuring basic services to the Palestinian refugees, particularly services benefiting women and girls, including in education, which is critical for their empowerment, as well as healthcare and relief and social services, not least emergency aid to alleviate the catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza. And the Group of Friends in Defence of the Charter remains committed to further strengthening its efforts in support of the just cause of Palestine, including through active engagement in international initiatives aimed at ending the illegal Israeli occupation and at achieving the independence of the State of Palestine. The realisation of the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people, including to self-determination and freedom, and achieving a just, comprehensive and lasting solution to the question of Palestine in all its aspects, including for the plight of the Palestinian refugees and the revitalisation of the right to return in accordance with international law, the relevant UN resolutions, the UN Charter, and on the basis of the two-state solution, enabling the realisation of the independence of a sovereign and viable Palestinian state on the basis of the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. The future of Palestinian women and girls, their comprehensive development, and the full respect of their sacred history and culture, as well as their central role in their society, are an integral part of the foundation of the State of Palestine, vital for overcoming decades of relentless acts of violence, oppression, and siege. It is our common duty to honour the historical debt to Palestine and actively support efforts aimed at realisation of their inalienable rights to self-determination and independence. Thank you.
I thank the Deputy Secretary General of the Federation of Cuban Women of Cuba,